I wanted to take a second and walk through something that I know is going to come up and a lot of students might have questions about. So I thought I'd quickly run through this now. And what happened here is I actually didn't commit our social Facebook ID in secret or Twitter ID in secret because those are properties that are secret. I don't want those published in GitHub for just anyone to see. You'll have other things like database username and passwords, things like that you don't want in a configuration file. So for right now, they just aren't there. So if you were to pull this down, it wouldn't work. So what we're going to do is actually get rid of them, and we're going to talk through a couple ways that we can add these environment variables in and use them without having to have them in a public configuration file. So there are many ways to do this. We're just going to talk through a couple. So the one thing we can do right in IntelliJ is go to Run and Edit Configurations. And if we go to our environment variables here, we can come and add some in here. So what we would want to do is we would want to add something like Spring, Social, Facebook, and that we need the app ID. So that's app ID, and then whatever the app ID is. And then we can come in and add another one if we wanted to. Spring, Social, Facebook, App Secret, and then my secret key here. So now if we were to go ahead and click OK, you could see it kind of adds those in there. And if we were to go ahead and run it from the IDE, it would pick those up. I'm not going to do it that way. If you go in here, you can actually remove these if you need to. So another way that you can do this at least is by using operating system environment variables. So in my case, I'm in a Mac. I'm going to go to, this is my home. And what I want to do is, here's a little quick shortcut for you. If you can't see hidden files and folders in Finder, you can hit Shift, Command, and period. And that will kind of show you everything that comes up. So what I want to do is go ahead and grab my bash profile, and then in here I could do, say, an export Spring, Social, Facebook, App ID, and then whatever this is. So, and then we can do the same and do the App Secret, and then we can have that in there. So now what I would do is I'm going to set this up for both Facebook and Twitter. And I'm going to go ahead and email these, or actually probably find a better way to give them to John. And so now we both have these on our machine. And if we were to go ahead and say not run it from the IDE, maybe I'm running it from a command line, as I am doing now. I'm running Gradle W on the command line, so these will get picked up. Just another little tip too, if you enter these and you're already in a command line, so I was in terminal, you need to make sure you shut that down and reopen that for these variables to become available within that terminal. So that's what I'm going to do. And the last part about this is we need to come in here and actually delete these. So I'm going to get rid of all of these and do this here, and we're just going to remove that. And the reason that we're doing that, if we come back to the documentation, a little bit about externalized configuration here, we have a specific order that we look for them in. So this is the order that it looks for them in, and here's our OS environment variables. And so that is, in the pecking order. So if it finds those, but then as we keep going down, we have an application.properties or YAML file. So if we were to leave those in there, it would have picked up my properties as XXX and XXX for the secret and the ID. So it would override what I've already set in my environment variables for my operating system. So that's why I'm deleting those. I'm going to commit those, and then, like I said, I'll find a way to get John the exports that he's going to need to put on his machine to make it work as well. So I hope that was helpful. I know that's probably going to come up, and really there's just so many ways that you can create configuration properties in Spring, and it's really helpful that they give us a bunch of different ways to do so. So in this case, I wanted some secret stuff kept secret and not committed to GitHub. So I hope that was helpful. And with that, let's go ahead and move on.